Hi, Ashley here with hearthookhome.com, and today we are going to learn how to crochet a classic granny square. There are about a million different ways that you can crochet granny squares. This is the classic, and this is my favorite method. All granny squares start at the center and work their way out and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can just keep going until it's as big as you like. I've once made one that was an Afghan size, just huge. This one here is 12 inches square, and I am including this in my new Stitch Sampler Afghan pattern that we're crocheting this summer on Heart Hook Home. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is start with the circle in the center. You can either do a chain 3 or chain 4 and attach to form that circle that you're going to crochet into, or you can make the magic circle like I'm about to do. It's my favorite method of starting something that is worked in a circular pattern. So let's get started. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our circle in the center. In order to do that, I'm going to make a magic circle. I do have a full tutorial just for the magic circle if you have never used this method before, but it's a great technique for making a circle that is, you can change the size of your hole, which is awesome. Just make sure that you thoroughly weave in that yarn end when you're done. So since this is a granny square, we are going to have 4 sides to our square, obviously, and then we're going to build onto that. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build that foundation square. So I'm going to do a chain 3, and that is going to count as my first double crochet. Now I'm going to place 2 double crochets in the circle. Now that is side 1 of my square. Now I need to make my first corner. So I'm going to do a chain 3, and that is my first corner. Now I need to make another side of my square, so I'm going to place 3 double crochets in the same circle. 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm ready for another corner, so I'm going to do a chain 3, and that will be my corner. And now I'm ready for another side, so I'm going to place 3 double crochets in the circle. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm ready for another corner, so I'm going to chain 3. And now I'm ready for my final side to my square, so I'm going to place 3 double crochets in the circle. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm ready for my final corner, so I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to join to the top of the first chain 3 that I made with a slip stitch. I'm just going to go in under both sides of that chain, and I'm just going to slip stitch right to it. Beautiful. And now since I started with the magic circle, I've got this huge gaping hole in the center. I'm going to take my tail, I'm just going to pull it like this, nice and tight, and now I've got this adorable, perfectly shaped little square, right? So I've got a chain 3 in each corner. Let's look at this like this. I've got the chain 3 in each corner, and each side of my square is 3 double crochets. So now I am ready to continue building on to my granny square. So what we are going to do every single time, and I'll make several rounds with you here, but what we are going to do every single time is where we ended this square, where we joined here, we're going to slip stitch across until we get to this next chain 3 space. So I'm going to go in the top of the next, or the second technically, this double crochet right here, and I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to go into the top of the final double crochet of that side of the square, and I'm going to slip stitch to that as well. And then I'm going to go into this chain space here, and I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to pull this one just a tiny bit tighter because otherwise it's kind of obvious. So now I've made it, I've slip stitched over to the actual corner itself. So now I'm going to crochet a corner. So I'm going to chain 3, and that is going to count as my first double crochet. So now I'm going to place 2 more double crochets in that same corner space. 1, 2, and now I'm ready to crochet a corner, because your corners are always going to stack on top of each other. So I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to place 3 double crochets in the same space, and this will create a corner. We'll see it really start to take shape here in just a moment. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So this is my first corner for my next row, correct? Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to create a corner in this corner. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 3 and place 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets in that same chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to place 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets in this corner here. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, and 3 double crochets in the same spot. Now to get over to the next corner, I'm going to chain 1. And now in this final corner here, I'm going to do 3, 3, 3. So 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. And that's what you're always going to do in your corners. Now that we have that done, and it's really taken a square shape, right? Isn't that crazy? We're going to do a chain 1, and we are going to join to the top of the first chain 3 that we made. And now the next round is where you really start seeing the actual granny portion start taking shape. So we'll probably only do another 2 rounds together, but you're just going to continue doing this next round over and over and over. So in order to get the next round started, remember we're going to slip stitch into this one, slip stitch into this one, slip stitch into the chain space, and then we're going to start a corner there. So I'm going to slip stitch into this next double crochet right here. I'm going to slip stitch into the next double crochet here. And now I'm going to slip stitch around this chain space, the whole thing. And I like to make this one just a tiny bit tighter. It makes it less obvious. And now I'm going to start my corner. I'm going to chain 3 to start the whole row, which counts as a double crochet, and now I'm going to place 2 more double crochets in there for a total of 3, since that chain counts. Now I'm going to do my chain 3 for my corner. I'm going to place 3 more double crochets right in this chain space. Beautiful. Now I'm going to chain 1. And now in between these 2 from the previous row, I'm going to place 3 double crochets right in where my thumb or where my fingernail is here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now to get over to this corner here, I need to chain 1, and then I'll place my corner in the corner. So there's 1, and now I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets in this corner. Chain 3, 3 double crochets again. So your corner is always going to be the 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, and it's just easy to go 3, 3, 3. And then in between, when you're working along the side of your square, you're going to chain 1 in between each cluster, and you're going to place a 3 double crochet right in here, in between each of these on the flat side of your square. I'm going to chain 1 to get to the corner, and you guessed it, right? 3, 3, 3, right in this corner. Three and 3. Oops. Now that my corner is made, I'm going to chain 1, find in between my next 2 on the flat portion of my square, and I'm going to place 3 double crochets right in there. Chain 1 to get to the corner, and now we're going to place our corner stitch right in here. Three, and 3. Chain 1, 3 right in this guy right here, right? So this is our final part of this row, is this one right here. We're going to do our little 3 double crochets right in here. Now I'm ready to chain 1, and I'm going to join to the top of my first chain 3. Slip stitch. Beautiful. So, as you can see, we really start having this square shape starting to form, right? So now we're going to just continue this same exact thing over and over and over. I am going to do one more round with you because as you go, you'll see here's a corner, obviously, right? So when we're done with this corner, we're going to chain 1 and put 3 in here, and then we're going to chain 1 and put 3 in here, and then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to get to the corner where we do our 3, 3, 3. So every time that you are on a flat portion of your square, you're going to have 1 chain in between these, and in the corners we're always going to do that 3, 3, 3. So to start a new round, I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the next double crochet right here. I'm going to slip stitch to the next double crochet here. I'm going to slip stitch to my corner chain space, the whole thing. Make that one just a little bit tighter so it's not obvious. We're going to chain 3, which is going to count as a double crochet. So 2 more for the first half of our corner. I'll pull my yarn a little bit. Oops, looks like it's about to fall. Now that I've got my first 3, I'm going to 3 and 3 again. Now that I am at the flat portion of my square, I'm going to chain 1, put 3 in here, chain 1, put 3 in here, chain 1, which will get me to this corner. So chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain space right here. And like I said, there are a million different ways to do granny squares. Chain 1, 3 in this one. So now that I've gotten across the whole flat side of this square, I'm going to chain 1 and I can do my corner right here. Here's 3. 1, 2, 3, and another 3 here. And now that I'm back to starting the square part, or the flat part of my square, I'm going to chain 1, put 3 here, chain 1, put 3 here, chain 1, and then put my corner. And then when I finish that corner, I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do a chain 1 and put 3 here, and a chain 1 and put 3 here, a chain 1 and put my corner here, and then I'm going to do the same thing. And literally that is all you're doing the entire time. So if it's not a corner stitch, you're just going to place a chain in between, right? That's it. That is all there is to a granny square, and you just continue making it as big and as big and as big as you want. So like I said, there are a million different ways to make a granny square. This is my personal favorite. It's so easy, so mindless. Make sure that if you are using the magic circle to start, that you pull it nice and tight so that there's not a huge hole there. And then make sure that you weave in this end very securely around here, because I don't want it to come out from the center And that is it. That is all there is to crocheting a classic granny square. I hope you love this video. I hope you love granny squares, and I look forward to crocheting more with you soon. Thanks for watching.